Hey everyone, welcome to Nick's Corner. I'm Nick, you're in my corner. Today we're going to do the Booktube Newbie tag. So I guess question one is, why did I start my channel? I was a fan of Daniel Green, Murphy Napier, Elliot Brooks, and Mike from Mike's Book Review, although when I was a fan of Mike, he was Geek Corpse Media, and I was following all of them, watching their booktube stuff, trying to get good suggestions for books that I want to read because I'm a huge sci-fi, fantasy, horror nerd, and they were all talking about these things. And so I wanted to join in on the conversation, and I started my own channel just so that I can put my own opinions out there, and more so than anything, create a vlog for myself that I could keep track of what I'm reading, my thoughts, and all that sort of stuff. And of course, all my thoughts are always subject to change because I changed my mind to fit the facts as opposed to the facts to fit my mind. So I like to read something and change my mind on a lot of things if I can. Um, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? Well, I bring spoiler-free reviews on my channel, for the most part, unless if we're past like book 2 or 3 of a series, in which case I start talking spoilers, because at that point you're not wondering whether you should read the book or not, you're wanting to talk about the book. But another thing I have just recently started doing has been adaptations. It's a show where I talk about the show or movies compared to the books. I have done a brief one on The Witcher. I'm going to be doing The Witcher episode by episode breakdowns, and I also have Jurassic Park lined up to do soon. Why do you love reading? Well, I have PTSD. So my mind is a jumbled mess at the best of times. I find reading to be very structured. It's very linear, going from point A to point B. I enjoy the fact that I feel accomplished when I am reading all these books and stuff like that. I feel like I am getting something done, and I'm very happy about that. And I love that. I That's one of the things I love about reading is it can take you out of our regular world and put you into a different world. And I think it was George Martin who had said that a regular person lives only one life, but a reader lives many. And I feel that, and I get to experience all these different characters and their trials and tribulations. It's very amazing. I really like it. What book or series got you into reading? Well, the first time around it was Lord of the Rings. I have stopped and started reading a whole bunch in my life. When I was younger, I was not able to read anything that didn't interest me. I have learning disabilities that have made it very difficult for me to enjoy reading. And it's taking a long time to be able to finally enjoy it like I do now, and it took a lot of work, but it was worth it. And so Lord of the Rings was the only thing I read for a long time. I've read it 50 plus times for sure, easily. Um, and it was just one of those books that it was the only thing that drew my attention, that I was able to finish cover to cover every time. And so it really drug me out of that, never reading to wanting to read all the time. The next time was in my 20s. I didn't read really a whole lot as a teenager, aside from Lord of the Rings. But in my early 20s, I picked up what's it called Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Sangler. I really liked it. It was something that I always heard so many things about Catcher in the Rye, and I was like, let's check it out and see what it's about. And I was starting to feel really depressed at the time, and I thought books would be a good way to do sort of an escapism thing, and it worked really well. And then the third time around, it was A Song of Ice and Fire that got me back into it. And just recently, the last time around, I believe it was Joe Abercrombie who got me right back into it again with the Blade itself. And moving forward from there, I have since started reading a lot of books. And I've probably read almost as many books since I started reading last year to the date as I have read previously in my entire life. It's kind of weird how that works out, but the more you do it, the more you love it. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? Well, I guess the one question I would ask Elliot, Daniel, and Murphy is, why aren't you guys doing World Hoppers anymore? I love that show. And that was one of the things I always enjoyed when I was watching World Hoppers was the three of them, plus you had Jashanase, I think her name was. I can't remember. And then you had Bedtime Bookworm as well. And Jay from out in British Columbia, they were all on there, and they would get together and they would have conversations about books. And I thought it was so engaging, and like it was such a great show to watch. And to be honest, I never heard of any of them outside of Elliot Brooks and Daniel Green previous to that. Because of that show, I found Murphy Napier, and I also found all the others as well. And I had already been watching Jay a little bit from Captured in Words. And so it was really great to see all of them on screen together. And as for what I would ask other people like Mike, I get to talk to Mike all I want because he's such a cool dude. He's very friendly. You know, I think we have a good community here on YouTube for booktubers, and everyone wants to help each other, and everyone else to succeed. The more opinions that are out there on books, the more different thoughts and different ideas come up, and it's the best way to go about it. Where do I read? I read in bed, I read on my couch, I read on the bus, I read wherever I can read, really. I don't have a preference to where I read. I guess some people do, but for me, I just like to read wherever, whenever, when I can. So it's not important to me where I read. It's more so about what I'm reading. I like books that, engage and really hit me good. What kind of books do you like to read? Well, I am a little bit of everything. I like my fantasy and I like my sci-fi. I like my horror genre and I like my thrillers and I like my detective stories, but I will read anything as long as it's good. I read Shape of Family, which was a book I didn't think was going to be up my alley. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. So I don't want to put a stamp on it saying what kinds of books I read, and I'm not going to limit my channel to just a couple genres when I have so many books out there that I can read. And just, I know that people with focused channels where they're hyper focused on certain genres, they have a bigger draw. I totally get that because the people that are following them know they're gonna constantly get their fantasy, their sci-fi, or their horror. Um, for me, I want to give you a little bit of everything. I want to give you fantasy. I want to give you sci-fi. I want to give you general fiction. I want to give you thrillers and procedurals. I want to give you adventure stories. I want to just, give you all kinds of interesting books that you can go and take a look at. And like I said, my main goal of my channel is to give you spoiler-free book reviews so that you can go and check out any of my videos. And as long as they don't say spoiler within the first few minutes of it, you're getting a spoiler-free video. So that's one of the things I really love about it. And I'm going to continue on to make my videos the best I can. I will continue to try and improve my content and go from there. Anyway, guys, that's my booktube newbie tag. I have no clue who I'm going to tag in this. But if I do, you'll be tagged down below. So we'll see you then. Have yourselves a great day, everyone, and thank you for coming by to the corner.